Hi, my name is Nathalie and I am the author of My Hair, illustrated by Alan Fatima Harun, and I am a guest on the All Things Hair channel. Thank you so much for having me. My Hair is about a little girl whose birthday is coming up and she's trying to figure out what is the best hairstyle to do her hair in. The reason why I felt it was really important to showcase black hair is because it's my reality. I've always been surrounded by black hair. I'm a person who has black hair. So I wanted to reflect that reality, and it's a lot of children's realities too, to see these kind of hairstyles in the book. They'll recognize their mom, they'll recognize their dad, they'll recognize their siblings, they'll recognize their friends in all of these hairstyles, and most importantly, they'll also recognize themselves. I've always had natural hair, so all throughout my childhood, all throughout my teens, now I've just always had my hair naturally how it naturally is. My hair is quite tightly coiled, so I do remember my mum like having to drag a brush or a comb through my hair, and like, you know, when someone's dragging your hair and your eyes goes up like this, so you squint so hard because they're dragging it so hard. I remember my sister Nathalie taking over the responsibility to do my hair, because she was the only person in the household who could cane row, and she was self-taught too. So I literally relied on her for all my hairstyles. She was just the coolest person in the house who knew how to just navigate hair. My mum wasn't as good at it, so I really relied on my sister for that. I always remember just wanting to look good or wanting to look presentable, because as a young black woman and as a young black girl as well, there's just a lot placed on looking good when it comes to your hair. Everyone actually does try and have that thing where they look good within themselves, within their hair, because it makes you feel good too. My birthday is coming up so soon. I'll need new clothes to wear. But most of all, I need to know, how shall I style my hair? So that was definitely a real conundrum growing up. It was always this thing of like, you would get to a certain stage in the week. Usually it'd be like a Sunday, just in time for like the Monday. And my sister would say to me, Hannah, what are you gonna do with your hair? Because that's always the time just before school, you want your hair done, looking fresh, looking cute. And I'd be like, I don't know, can you just come up with something, please? And she'd be like, can you at least give me an idea? And I'd be like, I want some cane rows in the front, or I want some cane rows at the side, or I want a big puff at the back. Like, that was the kind of thing. So yes, I definitely relate to always thinking, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with my hair? And then, because you kind of want people to be like, your hair looks nice. Yeah, I see you got it done in front. Like, that was always a thing in the playground, to have someone say to you that your hair looks nice or it looks cute. So I definitely relate to that. Learning about your hair type and how to manage it from a young age, I think it's very much a learning process, because you could learn a tactic or a little tip from somewhere. Say, for example, a YouTube video. There's loads of amazing natural hair care bloggers, etc. on YouTube, and that have their own blogs. You could learn how to do something there, and then somebody else could come out and be like, oh, this is actually a way that I do it. And it might be a better tip for you and your hair than the way that you learned. A lot of these people are actually amazing, these bloggers and vloggers that are natural hair care bloggers. They're amazing because they've done loads of trial and error on different products, different tips, different materials that they've used. And it's really just trial and error. So I think it's a constant learning process on learning what works best for your hair. There's actually statistics to support the fact that black children are severely underrepresented in books and in media, specifically when it comes to children's books. The Children's Cooperative Book Centre did a study, and they found that white children are 50% more likely to see themselves in a book, or in media, etc. Whereas African American children, Asian children, and Latin children, this is an American study, that's why it said African American, they are less likely to see themselves, and they are actually more underrepresented than inanimate objects, such as, for example, a cup or a talking truck, or an alien is more likely to see themselves in a book or be represented in a book than a black child or a child from a Latin or Asian background, which is extremely upsetting, because if you imagine that a child can pick up a book and expect to not see themselves, then we as a society have severely failed somewhere, that a child can't see themselves when they are just going to read for pleasure or going to read for whatever reason. That's really, really upsetting. In the UK, the CLPE did a study and they found that despite 32% of children in primary schools identifying as coming from a Black or Asian minority ethnic background, only 1% of books had characters that had the same background as these children. How are children seeing themselves being represented, or if they're even seeing themselves being represented at all? I remember being in primary school and they were the books that you relied on because they were the only books that had any characters that looked anything like you. And those books were the Grace books by Mary Hoffman, I believe. It was also Handa's Surprise. And we know that there's Black authors who've been self-publishing when traditional publishing neglects them. They've been self-publishing, they've been doing anything to get their own work out there. However, how are they being marketed? Are publishers actively looking for Black stories and just for stories that are written by Black people? Are publishers looking? Are people behind the scenes looking? Where are we behind the scenes too? I didn't feel hair discrimination growing up. I grew up in really predominantly Black schools, so there wasn't a case of other children like discriminating against my hairstyles, because a lot of other Black children had the exact same hairstyles as me. Or if there were white children or Asian children, they understood the kind of hairstyles that were also surrounding them in that type of environment, so they didn't necessarily pick on me for my hair or anything like that. The discrimination that I did experience was in the corporate world. So for me, I wore my hair naturally when I was working in an office, and there was a lady on my team who would touch my hair, and I told her every single time, please don't touch my hair. Like, that's a boundary that I don't want crossed. Don't touch my hair. And I said it to her every single time, and every time she ignored it. So that was somebody choosing to ignore my boundaries. So then when I finally took the issue higher, my manager had this thing of, okay, I'm going to talk to her, but he felt that the conversation was really uncomfortable and ended up not talking to her. So when she did it again, the issue had to go even higher. So there was that thing of someone not respecting my boundaries, and I wasn't used to people just putting their hands in my hair or touching my hair, because I had grown up around a lot of other Black children and Black people, and even just people that had grown up around Black people also, that knew that that wasn't appropriate. So that was a really challenging time for me to have to fight that person on a simple thing like not respecting my boundaries and not respecting my hair. What helps me love my natural hair is taking care of it. So washing it, feeling that it's fresh, knowing that it's clean. When I put it in a protective style and I know that it's safe underneath braids or anything that I've chosen to do on the top. When I plait it and I have the oils between my fingers, or I rub my fingers on my scalp, and I can just feel that my hair is being taken care of. Taking steps to take care of your hair actually makes you love it even more. And even just like always remembering that my hair is very much an extension of myself and who I am. And it's really nice to take care of it and to feel that it's being, nourished. Something that I have always loved about my hair, and that I've always loved about Black people's hair, is how versatile it is. We can literally do any style. In fact, there's even like a running joke that you could go into work today with your hair like natural out in an afro, and then tomorrow you could walk in with braids, and then the next day you could walk in with a wig, and the next day after that you could do like shaved sides or a fro hawk or whatever, or crochet, whatever you want to do. It's just amazing how Black women, Black men embrace our hair and have this thing where we really express our identities through our hair. And it's something that Black children learn how to do too. You'll notice that they put little beads at the side. They might have little shells. They might do little golden clasps. They even tell you when you're doing Black children's hair, they say, I want it like this, or I'd like it like this. And if they don't already, it's a really nice time to start having that conversation. So it's really lovely to me how Black people just embrace our hair, and how we've always embraced our hair and shown it love and shown it care and shown it that kind of respect.
Hi everybody, I'm Nathalie, I'm Hannah's sister, and she's asked me to do a very quick and very easy hairstyle. And it's one that you normally wear out.
I love this hairstyle.
Yeah, so very quick. It's going to be 2 cornrows on the sides, and yeah, it's going to be very, very cute on Hannah.
Well, I mean, look what you're working with.
Yeah, exactly. The bone structure on this one. We've done this bit. So this is the side I've done earlier.
Here's one I made earlier.
Now this side.
So, Nat, you have 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best way that we can get young Black children to embrace their natural hair? What do you do with Austin and Annika? Because that's my niece and nephew, in case you didn't know. What do you do?
What I do is I ask them what hairstyles they want to do. As simple as that. So I say, look, kids, what do you want to do today? And once I've done it, it's very good to have positive affirmations. So as you can see, when you're here and you see me, I pop them in front of the mirror.
Yes, I've seen that.
And yeah, just say, look how beautiful your hair looks.
Look how good it looks.
How do you feel? And they normally have these massive smiles on their faces because, it's all about positivity.
I think it also feels like teamwork as well, because you've asked them what style they want to do. It puts the decision making in their hands.
Yeah, that's right. And
then
they've made a decision, and when they go to school, for example, they're rocking the hairstyle that they have chosen. So it gives them that little added confidence,
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that, because I've literally seen them after you've done their hair. They're like, I love it.
Yeah.
So cool. So Nat, what are your favourite natural hairstyles to do?
I love my afro styles, not gonna lie, but when I'm not rocking my afro, I do like my crochet.
Yes, you love a
That's
good
my
protective
go-to,
style.
My protective style crochet.
Love it.
And the braids. I love crocheting braids. My favourite hairstyles.
Honestly, and I've just been like, oh my gosh, like, you were actually the first person who told me shave the sides and get a little bit of like a really
something different.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
all the experimenting we've done over the years.
I know. Oh yeah, that's it. Quick and easy.
Thank you. I'm excited. I really think that we need to have more people behind the scenes, more gatekeepers that are thinking about how best they can celebrate Black hair and celebrate different types of hair, and really just pushing that message and knowing that there's going to be a child somewhere who benefits from that. And that feeling of seeing yourself and that euphoria and just the joy that it sparks within you never goes away. Because even me at my age, I love romance novels, and when I'm reading a romance novel and there's a Black heroine, the connection that I feel with that character is just like massive, and I just love it so much. I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's someone that looks like me, or that has something to do with me, that's connected to me, that is falling in love or having a great journey. And even just reading descriptions about their hair and their braids and their afro, whatever it is, and it just really, really validates you and makes you feel so special and like you're being seen. And every single child deserves to have that feeling of being seen and being represented. Something that I've been really happy to see as a result of my hair is loads of parents, carers and teachers getting in touch and saying how they've noticed Black children and mixed race children reacting to the book in a really, really positive way. They're able to see their family members or members of their community. They're able to see themselves in the books. So loads of teachers have told me how like they'll see children stroking the pages of the books. That's Alan's amazing illustrations too. Just stroking the pages of the books and being like, or saying stuff like, oh, there's my mum, there's my dad, there's granddad. And that's like a really lovely thing to be able, a really lovely gift to be able to give somebody else, is the gift of representation and being able to see yourself. And I'm really, really happy to do that. Thank you so much to All Things Hair for having me on your channel. I've really, really enjoyed making this video and really just like being a part of this discussion. So I hope you guys continue this discussion in your homes and in your places of work, on the playground, wherever it may be. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you again soon.